All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to Gaming History 101's unboxing of the PS4 Pro. Now, it's weird. I do a retro podcast, so it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense that I would do this. And those of you who watch my videos probably watch it for retro reasons. But the biggest thing I decided to talk about this is because I've become quite fascinated with new hardware and new tech and whatnot. And the PS4 Pro definitely applies. Now, the biggest thing I want to say going into this, because this is going to kind of be a jack of all trades video, is I didn't think I needed this, and I still don't think I need it, but I want it. And here's why. I have a 4K HDR television. I already have an Xbox One S. I have a 4K compatible gaming PC that can do lots of stuff. I've got plenty of 4K Blu-rays. So at a certain point, you sit there and go, okay, I've spent all this money on all this tech. Why not just upgrade the PS4? Because it does have particular benefits to upgrading, right? And I'll get into those in my article that's probably attached to this. But in the meantime, people definitely like unboxing videos. I'm sure many people have done them already. I'm going to do my own. This is going to be multiple parts, so definitely check the video description because I've definitely given time codes. Because I'll also be replacing the hard drive. This comes with a 1 terabyte hard drive in it, which let's see, you can't really see it, but let's see if I can squeeze it closer. Okay, so here's my finger. Just up here, where my finger just disappeared, there's a 1 terabyte thing. But anyway, it comes with a 1 terabyte, 5400 RPM hard drive that I believe is SATA 3. Well, PS4 Pro supports SATA 6. I happen to have a SATA 6 7200 RPM 1 terabyte hard drive that has been proven to increase or improve load speeds. In case you're paying attention and you want to know specifically which one I'm referring to, it is an HGST is the hard drive, and let's see, it looks like it's the HTS. No. I don't know the model number. Let's see, I got the box right here. Here it is. It's the Travel Star. Looks like the HFH1. I don't know. Anyway, if you want to see it, there's the box. There you go. You can examine whether or not it's worth your while. But a 1 terabyte hard drive that supports SATA 6 gig at 7200 RPM will benefit you. I've been told hybrid drives work really well, and SSDs do, but they don't work as well as you would expect. So most people say to go hybrid drives at the worst. I'm trying to find the best cost to benefit. But anyway, I've got to swap it out. So let's slit open the PS4, which I've done right now. And we will get started on the unboxing process. I apologize too, this isn't the greatest canvas, so I'm going to stand this up for a sec as I open it up. And as with most PlayStations in the past, this is kind of more of a sleeve, so we just slide this out. Sorry, you probably heard me hit the microphone. And here is the box underneath. Let's see here. Pull the tab on the top, slide it open. Now the first thing you find right when you get started is the quick start guide. I'm sure it's full of lovely information that I will read once I've done this unboxing. So let's see here. Let's put this on the side again. There's a bunch of goodies that actually came with this that I was surprised about because Microsoft's Xbox One S was surprisingly bare bones in comparison. Okay. First things first, let's do the unit itself. So sliding these things off. And taking off everything. It's a heavy unit. Surprisingly heavy, actually. And there's the PS4 Pro. Now, of course, people are wondering how it stacks up to an original launch PS. I'm sure the Slim's a lot smaller. I don't have a Slim. But I do have my launch PlayStation 4. So let's see here. If we put them up next to each other. Come on, focus. Here. Here we go. Let me see if I can do a side-by-side compare. So there's the Pro, there's the PlayStation launch. They are almost identical in size. In fact, they might actually be identical in size. I think the Pro is slightly shorter, but that's about it. So anyway, but yeah, here's the PlayStation 4 Pro. A couple of changes. It's got feet on it, and they are cleverly in the form of the PlayStation logos, like the squares, the triangles, the X's, and whatnot. Here is the front panel, right here. And as you can see, it's still got the USB 3.0 ports in the front. The biggest change is probably the fact that right here is the power button, and right here is the eject button, and they're actual like pressable buttons. If you read on Sony's website, they make it sound like these buttons are significantly pronounced. I disagree. I think these are very similar to the buttons on the original PlayStation 4, only they are slightly more clickable and they're not in a weird groove. You know, they're like, I mean, they're still in a weird groove actually when you look at them, but they're not quite as weird a groove as before. Otherwise, I think they're very similar. This is in comparison to the Xbox One. The Xbox One S has clear buttons where there was previously just like touch capacitive. So here's the back panel. As you can see, you got your Ethernet port. You got a third USB port, which I don't know if that was there all the time. Looks like the AC adapters changed slightly. You got your HDMI port, and I don't know what that port is. Is that the camera port? That looks like it might be the camera port. This one right here. Sorry, that one. And then, of course, you got your optical drive. For optical media, I like uncompressed, so I'm going to be sticking with HDMI. There's a whole nother story on that one. But if you're using optical, you can continue to use optical. Should also point out that this back plate is actually, if you see it right here, where my finger is, let's see. This back plate here, which seems to have a seal on it, is actually what you remove in order to pop it out and change the hard drive. So I'll be doing that at a later point in this video because I'm going to swap out the hard drive. So, all right. With that out of the bag, let's come back to the box of goodies. Got some pamphlet down here. Best place to play. This may be the same pamphlet that came with the original PS4. It does appear to just be an advertisement, and they're trying to pimp you on some free trials and whatnot. So that just leaves one other box. It's probably going to have a lot of stuff in it, which is this guy here. Let's pop this open. And in here we have... You have your AC cord. All right. It's definitely necessary if you're going to power up your console. We also have a USB cord, which actually will power and allow you to sync up your console. Now, I do know that came with the original PlayStation 4, so people will probably note that that's not that special. Although, it doesn't come with new PlayStation DualShock 4 controllers, or at least none that I've ever purchased. And the Xbox One S actually does not come with a USB cable for your controller, although your controller does not need to be plugged up to USB to sync up. It's, I believe, pre-synced to your system. Okay, let's see here. So next up, we have a DualShock 4 controller. This is the newer version of the DualShock 4, so I'm going to take a quick look at this because I'm not used to it. So here we go. This is a DualShock 4. Pretty standard. Pretty much everything's the same. The PlayStation button seems like it's got a little more ridges to it. The thumbsticks, I have one of there are two of the dissolving thumbstick models, so I totally get what they're saying about that. The grip seems a little nicer over here. Otherwise, controller seems pretty standard. Seems pretty much like the previous controllers I'm used to on the DualShock 4, but that's fine because I really didn't have much problems with the DualShock 4 controller anyway. Let's see what else we got here. We have an HDMI cable, which I'm betting is an HDMI 2.0 cable. When you're dealing with 4K and HDR, those become very important. And last but not least, like we had before, this is the mono headset. Allows you to put your little earbud in your ear and you're good to go. So anyway, with that in mind, there you have it. There is what is in your PlayStation 4 Pro. Surprisingly enough, or maybe not surprisingly enough, it is pretty much what came... Whoop, let's see, that thing wants to just leap out of its bag. But this is pretty much what came with the traditional PlayStation 4. So, you know, kudos to Sony for keeping the package the same. Again, with the Xbox One S, the package was seemed a little lighter than the launch package. That's not the case here. I'm just realizing now, looking at the camera, you can see my Grinch pants. Solid. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is, normally you would boot this system up and it would give you an opportunity to just, you know, download the new firmware and you're good to go, or there might even be a firmware pre-installed on here. And since 4.0 just came out, it probably has 4.0, and then once it got online, it would go, oh, you need 4.05 and da-da-da-da. Anyway, not the case here, because what's going to happen is... this HGST that I was talking about, this bad boy is going in here, because even though it is still 1 terabyte to 1 terabyte, the 6.0 and the 7200 RPM will most likely increase the speeds. But just to prep people before I get started, if you're going to change the hard drive, a couple of things you want to keep in mind is... you want to do a couple of things. First of all, you can do a direct PlayStation to PlayStation transfer. So if I wanted to, I could grab my PlayStation 4 that I just showed you, and this guy, hook them up together through an Ethernet cable and transfer all of the data over. If you have firmware 4.05, or actually I think it's 4.0 or newer, you'll see the transfer option under the system information. But in my case, I don't want to, because that's actually the hard drive. This is actually the hard drive that belongs to that PlayStation. I still have the launch hard drive that it came with. Haven't swapped it out yet, but I'll have to do that before I either get rid of this or continue to use it. This is the hard drive that was in there. So you can't just plug it in and expect all the data to come over. Nope. You need to do a couple of things. You need to download the newest firmware, which is 4.05, from Sony's official website, put it on a USB drive. And then you're also going to need to have your data backed up. So I've backed it up to a massive USB 2 terabyte LaCie hard drive. It only had to back up about 300 gigs. And I will tell you, the speed that I was seeing was about 100 gigs per hour. So it took about 3.5 hours to do. And I expect that to do the same when it's restoring it. And then just for safekeeping, I also grabbed a second thumb drive I had that was sitting around that was 16 gigs, and I stripped it down to its most basic, which was just save files and PT. I'm still one of those people who has PT. I want to make sure I keep it. Backed it up again at only I think it was 16 gigs. It was 12 gigs total. And I'll have that. So I'll lose a lot of my game downloads and whatnot, but I can just re-download those, but I won't lose PT. So I'm pretty safe to go. In addition, the original hard drive that was on my PS4, when I put it back on there, also has PT. So I'm pretty safe to keep PT. I don't have to worry about losing it, but I need to go set all that stuff up. So I'm going to cut the camera real quick. We'll come right back and we will swap this hard drive and I'll show you how to do it. So here we go.